Uh, so I was inside the house and I smelled something. I was like, God, it smells like a skunk in here. What the hell is going on? I'm in my kitchen, okay? And so she said, well, is it the top ramen that I made for the boys? No. I go into the front door and it's like strong. I go outside, I look over to the left, over to the right. I'm like, it's the middle of the day. There's not going to be any skunks out. I don't think. We've had a problem with this adult group home next door. I've even seen somebody be arrested for DUI at this place. It's changed hands at least once. Um, there's been people that have died over there. It's really horrible. Okay? We had people that scream. Um, Weird stuff going on. It used to be the ambulance was out there once a week. Cops are out there all the time. It's kind of chilled out. Well, then they got these two dudes working there, maybe three. They don't sound like they're from here. They sound like they're from Africa. And the guy would sit in his driveway for hours. Or I'm sorry, not his driveway. In the driveway. While he's working, he had some Camaro. He'd let it idle and it was noisy. And he'd sit in there for hours and smoke weed and stink up the neighborhood. And this went on for like pretty close to a year. And the meanwhile, there was this one guy living there that we called the Screamer. And if we had our windows open and these people could hear our kids, the guy would start screaming next door. And he would make like these weird fire engine sounds and all sorts of stuff. And it was bad. Like, we had to keep the windows closed all the time. I had to tell the kids, you can't be loud because the neighbors are hearing you. And they're psychopaths, probably. I mean, these people are mental health cases. They're not like high-functioning autistic or anything that I could tell. I mean, we have an older kid that's high-functioning autistic. I know what that's like, okay? And I've seen the people that come and go from this place in the vans. And the workers. You usually can't tell the difference between the workers and the people. I'm like, is that one of the workers or is that, whatever. Now, there used to be this one lady that ran the place and she had her family working for her. And we had the little gangster Mexican dude that would pull up in the morning bumping rap music at 5 in the morning when they would do their shift change. Well, we don't really have that anymore because they don't work there anymore. But at least they were like, they looked like they were workers. They'd wear hospital scrubs, some of them. But anyway, they started getting these other people working here, and I don't know if they just live there at the house and never leave. And, like that's part of their job. Like a live-in caretaker or something. That seems to be the case. Because I don't see a shift change happen anymore. But we got this dude over there and he just, like, smokes pot all the time. And it's like... It's legal in Arizona for recreational, I guess. But it's not legal to be working in an adult group home where you're taking care of patients that are mentally ill that are sponsored by DDD or whatever. And it's also not legal to be smoking marijuana in your car with it running. That's considered a DUI. And they sit there and do that all the time. And I'm 10 years sober. I'm an alcoholic, okay? I've never really been into the weed thing. But I sure don't want to smell it. I don't want my kids to smell it. I don't want the smell getting in my house. All my windows are closed and I can smell it. And it's like, I have to remind myself of what it would be like if I was like a 16-year-old kid sneaking around smoking pot. Like, how would I feel about it then? Or if I wasn't sober, how would I feel about it? And I don't really go to meetings anymore. I go once a year to get my coin. I don't really like the crap that I've seen since I've been here in Arizona, up north, I don't think sobriety is refraining from alcohol and smoking pot. That's not what I think sobriety is. I think sobriety is if you're sober and you're an alcoholic, that doesn't mean that you get to do other things. It means that you need to be sober. That means that you don't get to take prescription pills and abuse them. You don't get to smoke pot. You don't get to do lines of whatever. And you can't call yourself sober if you use cannabis. That's my take on it. That's how it's always been told to me. A drug is a drug. Okay? And so I've met so many people here in the program that smoke pot. When they're like, well, I'm a drug addict, and I don't. I've even met people that are like heroin addicts, and they're like, I'm sober, I only drink. No, you're not sober. That's not sober. I mean, we could argue the definition of sober, but like, okay, if you're in Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, you can't really truthfully call yourself sober if you're drinking or smoking pot. Okay? But, I mean, that's their program. I'm not going to tell them what to do. But I don't want to go to a meeting and listen to people talk that aren't sober tell me how to stay sober. Okay? I don't need the lady that smokes pot to give the newcomers a hard time about talking about their drug addictions in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Like, that's absolutely nuts. You smoke pot, you're a self-proclaimed sober alcoholic, and these new people are trying to get sober, and you're telling them they can't talk about drugs in an AA meeting. Fuck you. And just, like, after hearing that, and when I first heard it, I was like, fuck you. I didn't even know she was the lady that smoked pot. I thought she was like, just some hard ass, And I'm like, wow, wouldn't you know it, the fucker that's telling them to not talk about drugs in an alcoholic meeting is the one doing drugs. And so that's kind of been my experience with Arizona. And I'm sorry, man. That is not sobriety, people. And the people that are sober that watch my channel, you guys know it. You know I'm right. And so does everybody else. And so does the people that are doing this shit. They know. That's why they don't talk about it openly. You find out, And it's sad. It's like, you're dishonest. And part of being sober and working the program and going through the steps is that you have to get honest with yourself. If you don't, you'll go back out. I guarantee it. So anyway, speaking of the program, I have to realize that I am powerless over people, places, and things. And although I do not like what these people are doing next door, I really can't do anything about it. I can't make them stop. Sure, I could call the cops. Sure, I can call Adult Protective Services. Sure, I could go strap my GoPro on in a kind of covert place and go over there and then ask some questions and get him to admit something maybe or whatever. But it's not going to be a good outcome, I don't think. So I just have to let it go. And I guess mind my own business. I mean, I don't like people telling me what to do. So I'm just a tough one, And then we were realizing, like, well, we got a guy that lives behind them that likes to smoke pot in his backyard. And I'm pretty sure that you can't do anything about that because he's not working. And it's on his own property. So, unfortunately, I guess there's just not a lot that, can be done about it. I really wish that all these states would realize that legalizing marijuana is not the solution. And it's still a drug. I'm not worried about somebody that smokes pot. robbing my house like I am a tweaker or something, but it's still a drug and it still impairs your judgment, and it's still something that you shouldn't do and go drive because you could end up taking someone's life. But see, the thing is, they started doing this, back when I was a kid, everybody was like, legalize it, legalize it. And then they legalized it. You didn't realize, or they thought that they finally were able to get them to legalize it because they protested it and petitioned it. No, they have a grand scheme and a plan. They want everybody to be sedated. They want everybody to be high. They want docile people. That's why they've legalized it everywhere. And they want to make money off of it. But anyway, it's kind of I understand for some people, it helps them function better. It helps them, focus. It makes them, more chill. But to me, I never liked it because it just it was too much. It was just too far out of reality. But, I mean, I don't want to be telling somebody else what they can and can't do, but okay, when your smell comes into my house with my windows closed, I mean, that's a problem. And I don't want my kids to smell this stuff, But anyway, I guess I'm just kind of bitching and complaining, and there's really nothing I can do. And I have to realize, to the guy that doesn't go to meetings anymore, really, I'm powerless over people, places, and things. And somebody will say I should probably go to a meeting, but it's not going to make a difference. I'm plus 10 years sober, okay? And it took me a long time to get where I'm at. And I got to the end of the hole. I dug the hole to the bottom, and I said, I'm going to either die or get sober, okay? That's where I was at. So I became willing to do whatever it took to get sober. And I'm still in that position where I am, but I don't need to go to meetings every day. I don't even need to go to meetings at all to stay sober. When I first got sober, I didn't go to meetings for a couple of months. And I've been in and out of the program for a really, really long time. So I know how it works. And I know what makes people go back out. They think that they can be normal. They think that they can go hang out at bars. They think they can hang around other people that drink and smoke. They think they can date somebody that drinks and smokes. Absolutely fucking not. You cannot. And, I'm with another sober alcoholic, and she does go to meetings. I don't. I don't want to. She does. So, if I need to reach out to somebody else, I have another alcoholic I can talk to anytime. There's other people that I do have phone numbers to. I can call, I don't go hang out at bars. You hang out at a barber shop, you're going to get a haircut. I don't go hang out at people's houses. I don't have any friends. What I do is I do my YouTube, I talk on the radio, I go to Hamfest, I go to the thrift stores, I spend time with my kids and my family, and that's what I do. And that's why I stay sober. For them. For me. For you. For everybody. I'm not a good person when I'm not sober. So, anyway, I hope somebody got something out of that. If you didn't, okay, well, sorry. I'm just on here sucking up some airtime and venting about what I'm powerless over. So, over and out, guys.